Okay, yeah.
This is fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this is the graph for our consumption function. Okay, as I said earlier, because of the uh, autonomous component, it doesn't start from the origin. Okay, so this vertical distance here is the level of the autonomous consumption. Okay, and the gradient of the line depends on the value of B. Okay, we said that the marginal propensity to consume is the change in C divided by what? The change in D. So how steep the curve is depends on the value of B. The higher the value of B, the steeper the curve. So just know that your quiz, all these things can be coming in the true or false. Hmm? There's the higher the marginal propensity to consume, the steeper the consumption curve, true or false. So be taking note of all these small statements. Okay. Um, so yeah, this is our consumption function with the disposable income on the horizontal axis and then the consumption on the vertical. Okay. Consumption on the vertical. All right, so this is just what I was talking about. So if you are asked to draw a consumption function which depends on disposable income, this is what you have to draw. This is if it depends on disposable income. It's possible that consumption would depend on income. I think the macro that you guys were doing, there were some questions like that they gave you the consumption function and they wanted you to find the marginal propensity to uh, consume out of income. What you have here, this B here is the marginal propensity to consume out of disposable income. You understand? So if B is 80, it means that after subtracting tax from your income, you consume 80% of that tax. Of that remaining income, which is your disposable income. But you can also be asked to find the percentage of income that you will consume when we don't subtract any tax at all. That is the marginal propensity to consume out of national income. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Please go back again.
What I'm trying to say is
Yes.
the B that we have here is your disposable income, is your marginal propensity to consume out of disposable income. Okay, you can also be asked to find your marginal propensity to consume out of national income. I'm sure we'll see a mathematical question like that. So when we get there, we'll go over. Okay, and when you are, if you want to express consumption in terms of national income but not disposable income, then the intercept too is going to change. I'm sure that one is part of this note. So when we get there, we will look at that. Okay, so basically this is the consumption function out of disposable income. Okay, and then this is our savings function. Okay, the savings function. You see that it's starting from the negative axis, and that measures the inverse of the autonomous consumption. If you don't have any income at all, okay, the level of consumption that you have when you are consuming, it means that you are de-saving. Okay, that's why the level of savings there is negative. So just assuming that you don't have money, but you still have to consume, it means that you are borrowing money. And as you borrow, it means that you are de-saving. You are de-saving. That's why the savings function is starting from the negative axis. But mathematically too, we saw that S was minus A. Okay, it started from the autonomous level of savings is minus A. And our A was here from the consumption function, okay, which means that the savings is supposed to start from here. So as your disposable income is increasing, then your level of savings too will start to increase, okay. So this is the curve or the graph of the savings function. And then the change in x over the change in yd is our marginal propensity to save. So the one minus disposable income. Okay, one minus disposable income. All right. Okay, so now we said that consumption depends on disposable income, right? But we also know that our disposable income is income minus tax. So now we want to express C in terms of Y, not in terms of T and of YD. Okay, so we just expand our BYD. So we'll be getting BY minus BT. Okay. So now C, which is the consumption, is equal to A minus BT, and then our BY here. So now what we have here, now the intercept is no more A, but what? A minus BT. So when you are drawing your, let's look at this. Initially, this was our consumption function, right? With the intercept being what? Being A. Okay, because here was YD. But if we want to use Y, then now the intercept is supposed to be like this, because we have A and then our B, Y. Okay, this one is when we are expressing our income, our consumption as a function of income. And then this one is when we are expressing the consumption function as a function of disposable income. I hope you understand. So now the intercept is no more A, but this expression here. Please, do we understand? Do you understand? Yeah, Taza. Okay, so now you see that we spoke about the equilibrium. Okay, we spoke about the equilibrium. Now, this is our consumption function when consumption is expressed in terms of income. So you see there's a mistake here. Yeah, it's A minus B. Uh, this is rather supposed to be the new intercept. Okay, the initial one was this, and this is supposed to be the new intercept, which means that the new curve is rather supposed to be less than the previous one because of the negative sign. So if we are expressing the consumption function as a function of disposable income, then this is where the curve will be. But if we are expressing it as a function of income, then now the intercept is the A minus BT. Okay. So let's go by this one. So this one C is a function of YD. Okay, YD. But this one C is rather a function of Y. Okay, it's a function of Y. Okay, so for if we want to use the graph to show the equilibrium, okay. Now, this is the consumption function with respect to Y, because now we are using the horizontal axis as Y, not YD. So the intercept is A minus BT. Okay. We use the 45 degrees line as the Y line, the output line. And then this is our expenditure curve. That's when we add investment and then the level of government expenditure. So where this E curve crosses the 45 degrees line, then we get our equilibrium Y. equilibrium output. Okay, this one is when we use y is equal to e. Y is equal to e. So at point A, we have our equilibrium point with the level of equilibrium income being y bar. If we want to use the leakages and then the injections approach, then this curve is our leakage curve. Okay, when we add, sorry, when we add the savings and then the tax, and then the injection curve, the sum of investment and government expenditure will be horizontal. Okay, it doesn't depend on income. So no matter the level of income, these guys are constant. So their curve is just what, horizontal. So where they meet the leakages curve, that is where we get our equilibrium national income, our Y star. So whether you use the leakages and the injections approach, or whether you use the Y is equal to E approach, you are supposed to uh, get to the same results. Okay, you have to get the same equilibrium income. I hope that's okay.
Can you go over?
Okay. What I'm saying is we stated previously that the equilibrium condition is either y y is equal to e, okay, or the leakages are supposed to be equal to what, the injections. Okay, so this first, the diagram here is using y is equal to e. We use the 45 degrees line as our y line, and then this is our expenditure, the aggregate demand curve. Okay, so where these two curves meet, that's where we get our equilibrium point, and that's our point A here. So we trace this to the output axis. So the value of y that we will get here, the y bar here, is our equilibrium national income. So this one is when we use y is equal to e. And then the second diagram here is using the leakages and then the injections approach. This is assuming that initially this was the S curve. When you add T, it's just going to what? It's just going to increase. Okay. Now this is our leakages curve, and then this is the curve for the injections. They are this curve is horizontal because it is independent of y. No matter the value of y, I mean, we said they are exogenous. So no matter the value of y, their values are constant. So when you add their values to, the answer that you get to will be constant. Okay, so we have a horizontal injection curve. So where the injection curve and then the leakage curve meets, that is where we get our equilibrium point. So when you trace this to the output line, then we'll be getting our equilibrium income. Is that okay?
All right. Thanks.
Any other question? Okay, then let's move. Okay, okay, this just talking about what I just explained. Okay, but if you take this y, okay, when you take yl, okay, if you take yl and then you trace it to the 45 degrees line and then the expenditure line, you can see that aggregate expenditure here is greater than the output level. Okay, so AD is greater than AS, or the E is greater than Y. Is that okay? So if this is the case, it means that there's a disequilibrium. So something should happen before we go back to our equilibrium point. Okay, unlike the previous model that we looked at, according to them, the Y is always in equilibrium. But Keynes said that no. That's why they believe that they don't even need a government intervention. So here, if the government sees that maybe we are demanding more than they are producing, what we need to do is what we do something. The government can either increase their taxes or reduce government expenditure just to make sure that the Y and the E are all equal. Okay. Uh, if you take a point here too, you can see that the Y will be greater than the AE. So to restore equilibrium, we have to increase either G or decrease tax so that consumption or investment to go up, just to make sure that the equilibrium is restored. Okay, so that is what we'll be doing in this Keynes system. If there's a disequilibrium, there's supposed to be a policy, either fiscal or monetary, so that we can go back to equilibrium. Okay, so we'll be using maths and then graphs to do all those things. All right. Okay, so this one we want to look at the effect of an increase in autonomous investment on equilibrium income. If there is a change in investment, how will it affect the level of income? Okay, so let's start from E0 with investment I0. So this was the initial aggregate demand curve or expenditure curve. This is our 45 degrees line. So this is where the equilibrium was. This one we are using the Y is equal to E approach. So here, and now there's an increase in I from I0 to I1. It means that the AD curve is going to shift upwards depending on the level of the increase in investment. Okay, so we'll shift from this curve, this E0 to E1, and the vertical distance or the difference between the two curves will be the change in investment. Okay, so what is going to happen to the equilibrium point? The initial equilibrium was Y bar 0. Now, because of the increase in investment, this is the new equilibrium at point B, and that is causing an increase in Y. So this means that whenever there's an autonomous increase in investment, there's supposed to be a resultant increase in output. But for the first model that we looked at, we saw that even if investment changes, there was no change in output. Do you remember that? Abba,
Yes.
do you remember that the previous one that we did, the first session that we had, even when investment changed, there was no change in why, there was no change in aggregate demand.
Since I don't remember.
Ah, okay. Adrasa, do you remember? Oduniama, do you remember?
Please, honestly, I don't remember.
Okay. Crystal, do you remember?
The brain, I remember.
You remember? Okay, I'll come to you. Crystal, do you remember?
Please, I think so.
Okay, so you are the second, the third subset. The I think so people, and then Oduniama.
Hello.
Yeah, do you remember?
Please, no, I don't.
Okay, Lizzie. Lizzie. Lizzie, this is your network there.
No.
You don't remember, eh? Okay, Marvin.
Not really.
Okay. Yeah.
Please, I couldn't join last week and I
Hey,
didn't
no.
download.
It is not last week. Oh. The last session. The first one that we did. Don't you remember? We said even if when there's an increase in investment, AD won't change. It was just the components of AD that would change. You don't remember anything like that.
I don't really recall that.
Okay. Odumensa,
Please, I don't really remember.
I can't hear you.
Please, I said I don't really remember.
You don't remember. Huh? Okay. I think so. Crystal. Crystal.
Yes, sir.
Just assuming there's an increase in investment, we said there will be no change in aggregate demand, except that there's going to be changes in the components of aggregate demand. Why?
Sir,
Okay,
I
now
think
let's use a decrease in investment. A decrease in investment, which is supposed to cause a fall in aggregate demand, but we said there wasn't going to be any fall in aggregate demand. Why?
sir, I think I remember something along the lines of a balancing out of the component parts. So in the end, there's no real effect on the aggregate demand. So I think I remember that.
Yes, that is the assertion. Why?
Why?
Mm.
Hmm.
You see, because what we are doing now was just a counter reaction to the previous model that we looked at. So,
Yes.
fellow Ghanaians, we can't afford to forget those things. When we do that, we are really going to have issues. Okay, let's hear Adrasawa. Adrasawa, so there's a decrease in investment. As for Kings, for what we are doing now, we've seen that there's going to be a real effect. There's going to be a change in output. But for Cecil Pigu, Adam Smith, and those people, they believe that there wasn't going to be any change in aggregate demand at all. And as a result, there will be no change in why. It was just going to cause changes in the components of AD. Why? Adrasawa. Adrasawa has left us. You seriously don't remember, eh? Okay. So does it mean you've forgotten all the things that we did in the first session?
No, just a little
Just
hazy.
that
I
one.
remember it will have a knock-on effect on other things, but I've forgotten what exactly.
Uh, okay. All right. What we said
That would be
was,
very.
yeah, just okay. Now, just assuming there's a fall in investment. Okay. That
My
was
network was falling. That's why
okay.
it went.
Don't worry. Just assuming that there's a fall in investment. Okay, there's a fall in investment. It means that there was supposed to be a fall in AD. Okay. Now, when investment falls, there's a reduction in interest rate, and as a result, we are going to get an interest rate induced increase in investment. We know that there's an inverse relationship between investment and then interest rate. So after the investment has fallen, there's going to be a fall in interest rate just to make sure that equilibrium is restored. And because of the fall in interest rate, there's going to be a small increase in investment again. That's what we call the interest rate induced increase in investment. Okay. And when which is going to offset part of the initial decrease in investment. But when interest rate falls to, that is a source of disencouragement for those who save. People are going to be discouraged to save because of the fall in interest rate. So when investment falls, interest rate will fall, uh, investment will move up a bit. And because of the fall in interest rate, there's going to be a fall in savings. And whenever there's a fall in savings, there's a simultaneous increase in consumption. So the latter increase in consumption is going to delete the portion of the fall in investment that was left. So the latter increase in investment and then the increase in consumption is totally going to offset the initial fall in investment, which means that AD wasn't going to change at all, except that now there's a fall in investment and then there's an increase in consumption. That's what we mean by there's going to be changes in the components. But as for AD, there wasn't going to be any change at all. Okay, so that's the reason why they said that there's no real effect whenever there's an exogenous change in investment. I mean, some of these things, when they come, they are expecting you to really write out the intuition. Okay, so you don't have to be forgetting. Try to go. I know some of you are doing other stuffs, but try and soak the pressure now. Okay, before you go there. I mean, these things, the way we are treating this, I'm not sure a lecturer will have that much time to explain all these things like this. No, which means that if you don't soak the pressure now, you go there and they'll just come and rattle, and you will have to go back and think about all those things. So let's try and soak the pressure now. If we are able to revise and revise, well, the things will just be part of us. So we'll just be going to school to go and write the exams. Okay, so let's not forget. Let's try and revise.
Hello.
Uh-huh. So
Hello.
yes, Marvin.
So if you have such a question, will you have to state like where you are coming from, whether from Keynes, because they are conflicting.
Oh no,
What
no,
Keynes is saying is conflicting what
no
Piju
one,
and Adam.
no one is just going to state that what will be the effect of an exogenous change in investment output without stating where the person is coming from. They need to state it.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to make you aware. Okay. You see, when we started looking at Keynes, we said that it was just a counter reaction to all those theories. Okay, so whatever they believed, Keynes was just trying to disprove it. And this is one of those things. They believe that whenever there's an exogenous change in investment, nothing was going to happen to output. But from this one, Keynes is telling us that whenever there is a change in an exogenous change in sorry, whenever there's an exogenous change in investment, it's going to cause a change in national income. Is that okay?
Okay, thanks.
So I'm sure you see the importance of us knowing the previous one so that we really know what Keynes was talking about. But if we don't remember that under that model, changes in investments will have no effect on why, then we will not really understand what Keynes was trying to do. Okay, so please, let's revise. If you don't have time, when you are going to bed, just go through I mean, if 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you can try. Okay. Okay. Any question? Okay. Right. So did I explain this one? Okay. The second one is when we are using the leakages and then the injection. So let's assume initially the injection curve was this. So the initial level of investment was I0. And now there's an exogenous increase in I that is going to take us to I1, which means that there's going to be an upward shift in the curve. So A was the initial level of equilibrium with our Y bar 0 as the equilibrium income. Now, because of the increase in investment, I mean, this is the new level of equilibrium. So at B, we have Y bar 1, which is just like when we're using the Y is equal to E. Okay, so whether we use Y is equal to E or the leakages and injections approach, we are still getting the same effect. Okay, we are still getting the same effect. I hope we understand. Do we understand?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Any question? Yeah, I think I forgot.
I have a little question.
Okay.
Even though it takes us back to the old lecture,
Mm-hmm.
so if investment and the interest rates, they are inversely related,
Yeah.
but a fall in investment will lead to a fall in the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, because it was a bit.
Like you are trying to ask why a fall in investment is rather causing a fall in interest rate.
Yes.
Uh,
Though they are inversely related.
Now you see, that's why we say exogenous change in investment, which means the change in investment wasn't coming as a result of a change in interest rate. It is exogenous.
Oh, okay.
So that one is causing a shift in the investment curve or the function. Okay. Now,
Okay.
when we go to the loanable funds market, we said that the demand for loanable funds is the investment function. Okay, and then the supply of loanable funds was the savings function. Now, the price in the loanable funds market is interest rate. So now, if there's a fall in demand, okay, if there's a fall in demand, it means that there's a disequilibrium in the market. So before the market's equilibrium could be restored, price must fall. Now people are sending funds to the market, and people are not buying their funds. they've reduced the quantity that they buy. So what should they do? They need to reduce their price so that people will buy more and take the market back to equilibrium. That's why when the investment falls,
and the price is the interest rate.
yes, the price is the interest rate. So interest rate must fall just to make sure that equilibrium is restored.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, so the time is almost up. The time is almost up as we are speaking now to go. I forgot to even upload the micro video, so